Marriage can be blissful, but it also takes work. So what can you do to make it last a lifetime? Well, Marriage Bootcamp directors Jim and Elizabeth Carroll join us now from Texas with tips to get your marriage in shape this summer. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I understand you have some 5 tips to shape up a marriage and put the fire back in the relationship. What are they?
Well, tip number 1 is just get off your butt and do something. Most people just want to whine and complain about their marriages and do nothing. And so go into a workshop, do the counseling, do something other than just complaining.
Right. And the second tip that we have is to learn a second language. We have a drill called ESL, English as a Second Language, and really what it is that you need to study your mate, understand that they speak a different language, have different definitions for different ideas, learn what that is, and then speak into it. And I'll give you an example. If Jim comes home from work and he says to me,
It was a rough day. Traffic was horrible.
okay, now I could say, well, okay, why didn't you take a different route, or why don't you delegate some of that stuff? And I could start fixing his problem. But this is his emotional language. So what I need to do, because I've studied him, is I need to say to him, oh, honey, I'm just so happy about the way that you provide for us and how hard you work. And I know the traffic is a bear, so thank you for what you do for our family. And how do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel awesome. I mean, it feels great.
Yeah, so I've learned his language. His language is a little bit different than my language, and so that's tip number 2.
Okay. Tip number 3, forgiveness. I mean,
Yeah.
really learn what real forgiveness is, not just fake forgiveness, but gut-wrenching forgiveness where you're really letting the person off the hook and you're taking that barrier down between you.
Yeah, and forgiveness is something you have to really learn. It's a skill. It's not a feeling, it's not a notion, it's a skill, and everybody can learn it, and it's so that you can be free of not having to keep a ledger of all of these abuses or offenses, etc. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And tip 4 would be, go ahead.
Oh, and I was saying tip 4 you have is start with yourself.
Yeah, I mean, most people look and say, okay, the marriage is the problem or the other person's the problem. Well, we're all broken. We're all messed up a little bit. And so if you want to really fix your marriage, you need to start with yourself and dig in and find out what about you is not working.
Yeah, you have to do a ruthless inventory of everything that goes on for you, everything that makes you angry. And if you've got particular little hot buttons, I guarantee those things have their genesis in a time before your marriage. So if you can just honor that and understand that a lot of the stuff that you are fighting about probably was before your marriage, is where they got their start, you'll bless your marriage with that information.
And tip number
And tip
5 is learn to fight.
Learn to fight. Learn to fight. It's not just about getting in there and just, getting wrapped around the axle. Again, there's skills involved with good fighting, good productive fighting. So it's like if you come away from your fights feeling like you're closer and you got things resolved, then you probably have good skills.
Both of you guys are helping out some couples with extreme marriage counseling on a show called TV show called Marriage Bootcamp Bridezillas, which is a spin-off of WeTV's hit reality show Bridezilla. So tell us about the show.
It's interesting.
Well, we take a bunch of crazy drama queen bridezillas and their husbands, we put them in a reality house, and then we spend 2 weeks trying to fix their marriages and fix them as people, and it's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. You've got 5 drama divas, control freak, my way or the highway gals. They get married, and then they start having problems.
Duh.
So then they called us in and said, you guys got to clean this up because we got a mess on our hands, and we did. But the good news is, I think every one of them grew, every one of them opened up. It's a really interesting process to watch.
You can check out Marriage Bootcamp. It's going to air, the first episode is going to air tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on WeTV after Bridezillas. And have you ever seen the show Bridezillas before?
But how many couples do you think were just watching that and doing the same thing? We got to learn to fight to make this work.
Exactly, yep. Yeah, but these tips we'll post them up on our website, WTXL.tv. I'm sure all of us in marriages could learn a few things from
It's good to have a
Marriage
healthy
Bootcamp.
fight every now and again.
Exactly. Communication is key.
That